Welcome to a series I've come to call The Sovereign Self, a series of videos where inner power meets public purpose. I'm James, and I want to thank you for joining me on this journey. If you're someone who senses that the world is changing, that the ground beneath our feet is shifting, and yet still believes in the possibility of becoming something more, then this space is for you. In every video, I'll share short but meaningful reflections on personal development, cultural strength, and political insight, designed to help you lead yourself first before you attempt to lead anyone else. Because that's what sovereignty truly is: self-rule. And in a world as noisy, distracted, and reactive as ours, it's revolutionary. Have you ever felt like your attention no longer belongs to you? That your time is constantly being taken up by notifications, algorithms, outrage, gossip, or doom scrolling? That your energy is being spent not on becoming who you're meant to be, but on surviving the next news cycle or conforming to the latest cultural trend? In fact, this is the norm today. We live in what I like to call the age of noise, a time in which distraction has become the default. Silence is rare, reflection is suspicious, stillness is almost rebellion. We're constantly being told who to be, what to think, how to live, what to fear, what to want, and most dangerously of all, we're told what to feel. Our sovereignty, our ability to think independently, act with purpose, and govern ourselves with discipline is being slowly eroded, not by a tyrant, not by a dictator, but by the daily drip of digital seduction. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No politician, no movement, no influencer can give you your life back. That responsibility rests entirely with you. And that's not a burden, it's opportunity. Sovereignty begins at the moment you reclaim the steering wheel. When you stop living on autopilot and start asking, what do I want to stand for? That's the beginning of leadership. Not over others, but over self. That's the beginning of order, meaning, purpose. And it starts small. It starts with saying no to what doesn't serve you. It starts with waking up 30 minutes earlier to read or write or reflect. It starts with choosing solitude over noise, clarity over confusion, values over popularity. We live in a culture that rewards chaos. The sovereign self chooses calm. And I know what it feels like to be lost in that noise. There was a time in my life when I couldn't go 5 minutes without checking my phone. My morning routine was checking updates. My night routine was falling asleep to blue light. I was plugged in constantly, and yet I felt more disconnected than ever. Disconnected from purpose, from values, from stillness, but most of all, from myself. I remember one morning, I'd woken up tired, anxious and foggy. The kind of morning where even silence feels heavy. I sat there, holding my phone, thumb hovering over the screen, but instead of unlocking it, I just stared. For once, I didn't want more noise. I didn't want to see what everyone else was doing or saying. I wanted a moment of truth. That was the first crack in the illusion. I realized I'd built a life that looked busy on the outside, but empty on the inside. I wasn't weak, I wasn't lazy, I was just exhausted from living the life designed by everything except me. And then it hit me. The path to change wasn't going to start with a grand gesture. It wasn't a productivity hack. It was going to start by sitting with my discomfort, by turning down the volume, by asking myself uncomfortable questions and being still long enough to hear the answers. Questions like, who am I when no one's watching? What do I really value? What do I want my life to mean? This idea was born from those questions and that stillness and that pain. If you've ever felt stuck or scattered, or your days are being directed by something external, I want you to know I understand. You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not broken. You're human in a world that profits off your distraction. But there's a way back, and that's what the sovereign self is here to explore. So what does it actually mean to begin reclaiming your sovereignty? It doesn't mean cutting off from society or deleting every app. It means becoming conscious of what's influencing you. It means building a life where you are the author, not the algorithm. For this video, I want to offer a simple but powerful challenge. Carve out 10 minutes a day of complete stillness. No music, no podcasts, no scrolling, just you, your thoughts, and maybe a pen and notebook. Start by asking yourself these 3 questions. What voices am I allowing to shape my thinking? What am I consuming daily without intention? And what would it look like to lead myself today? Write down your answers, even if they're messy or half-formed. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for clarity. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, like detoxing from a drug or alcohol, but I promise stillness is the soil where strength grows. And over time, those 10 minutes will become your anchor, your compass, a place where you return to, not to escape the world, but to remember who you are within it. You don't need more apps or devices. You need access to your own mind, your own voice, your own inner leader. Start there. That's where the sovereign self is born. I want to thank you for joining me on this very first episode. If something in today's message resonated with you, share this episode with someone who needs it. That's how we grow together. Remember, in a world that demands conformity, leading yourself is a revolutionary act. I'll see you next time.